Hello, everyone. Jack Etchman here from Scootertrix Studios.
And I'm Ted Getchman. I'm one of the writers for the movie.
And hi, I'm Toasterless. I did some of the groovy visual effects for the movie.
And we are here to talk about the movie, to do the commentary on Scootertrix the Abridged, the movie. So how this is going to work, we're not going to do stopping and starting this time. What we're going to do is we're going to talk a bit about the movie before we start it, then start it nonstop, watch the whole thing, talk about all the individual scenes, and then at the end, just talk about anything we forgot, the premiere night, that kind of stuff. So, yeah,
I think it would be interesting to start off with. This was not a short-term production. This thing took forever. We were actually well into the writing before the first time we went to BronyCon. Is that not correct?
Yes. We had, because I know we had 26, we had the ending of 26 even by BronyCon of 2018. But the movie, we've been thinking about this one for a long time. And originally it wasn't even a movie to begin with. It was just a two-parter. It was 25 and 26. And that was going to be sort of wrap up everything. Sombra, Chrysalis, and Discord. But then I wrote 25, or I had like 25 kind of down, and I'm like, okay, the cliffhanger is going to be right here where there's the battle and everything, and, you know, there's the Smile HD. And it was like, that's a lot of stuff to wrap up in one 10-minute episode. So maybe we should have 25 and 26 and then a movie afterward. And the movie would be about Chrysalis. It'd be like 20 minutes or something. But then I started to write 26 and I was like, oh my God, this is, you know, I'm like 5 pages in and we're still in like the 4th space with Pinky and Discord. And it's like, that's not going to work either. So then it moved into, let's have 25, a movie, and then 26 deals with Chrysalis. And so then the movie kind of expanded to about 30 minutes long. And the movie consisted basically of this opening video, combined with the MLG fight that was originally in this first scene. And then they would go to the YouTube page, and then they would go to the ending. And that was basically the gist of the movie. It was like that 30-minute thing. And then it wasn't until my final year of college where I took a class on divergent media. And that's just a class on basically stuff like VR and stuff where you have to have like an app on your phone to find something in a real place like that. It's like sort of not traditional media. And they had Choose Your Own Adventures. So I looked up a couple YouTube Choose Your Own Adventures and I was like, wait a minute. What if we do the Scootertrix movie as a giant Choose Your Own Adventure? That would be kind of cool. And it's basically just Pinky and Trixie jump from video to video, trying to escape Discord, and they're trying to figure out how to stop him. You know, and that would be so cool. It would fit with the fourth wall theme and everything. And so this basically exploded, like the movie exploded in length.
That was back in
basically.
What, February?
This was like
18, right?
Yeah, of 2018. This is right before I graduated.
I remember the first time you told me about it. I was totally blown away about this concept. I was totally freaked out. It just sounded like it would be so awesome, and it would align with the fourth wall completely, because you have to interact. So I was like, go ahead. That was fantastic.
It would just be so much fun. I'm not sure. I think Toasterless, you found out about it a bit later.
Oh yeah, totally. God, it must have been definitely early 2019. If that's a year after when you came up with it.
Well, I mean, but the writing, that's kind of one of those things that always happens. You do your writing, and I mean, I was done with this a long time before you guys were. I stopped writing and working on it in 18, I think.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, like the end of 18.
Yeah, that was before it kind of, yeah.
Because it just takes so long to put all of it together.
Well, you definitely still seem to be working on it into 2019, though. Like, the writing.
Certainly the mid part, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
we'll get to with all the other abridgers. And that was when did that come up? The idea of bringing in abridgers and making it a big crossover as well.
So
that's like another level.
That was the extra level. That came after that. And it kind of started in a stupid way. Because I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they went to the Camaraderie Supernatural Wasteland? And it's like, and that you would be there for like 10 seconds. It'd be like, nope, they're not here. Go somewhere else. And that was like the crossover originally. Because like, oh, we have a place. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. I could have that, but I could also have I could probably get Friendship is for Adults involved, because they, we're friends with them. They, they like doing this kind of stuff. And then
You're always up for good stuff.
Yeah, and I kind of kept on thinking, it's like, how many other people could I get in on this? I could probably get Dual Shade. I could get Wakarb. And then it just kind of went from there. And I was like, how many Abridged series can I put into this thing? And we ended up getting just about all of them. I think the only one that we approached that didn't answer or didn't respond was the Ultimate Abridged series. But I had no prior contact with them or anything. I don't know if they're still around, or I just sent them like a quick message, and there was nothing from them. But
didn't you also ask about DWK?
I didn't ask about DWK.
I think that was a little different. That was more like looking at using his voice.
I was that's for 26. I approached DWK for something, but for this, it was just all those abridgers. When it came to like Griffin from Witchcraft and Greg from Mentally Advanced, I had either worked with them before or I had been talking with them on Discord a bit. That probably helped us actually get them on board, and plus we have at least like a reliable series. It's like we're pumping stuff out. We actually get stuff done. If we had just come out of the blue and said, "Hey, join our thing," and we had done nothing before, I don't think we would have gotten anyone. But they were open to the idea. I think Greg said something like, it's going to be like it's like a school reunion or something. Like, yeah. Because a lot of these people had not been in
for 6 years, 5 years. I was saying about Friendship. Yeah. Or it was Witchcraft.
I was a little worried because this is about the time when Jenny and Griffin had like a Twitter thing and basically split up. And I was like, and I approached Jenny first on Twitter about Witchcraft, but then I didn't get a response from her. So I went to Griffin, who I'd been talking to more, and then he agreed to do it. So I was like, oh my God, Witchcraft is on board. But it worked out. And we'll get more into like the specifics on what was going on and everything when we actually get to those segments and that kind of stuff. The last thing I'll say for those was Camaraderie Supernatural. That was the only one that I had not had contact with. And that was just sort of like, I'll just throw something at the wall, see what happens. And they were like completely on board. And they're like, yeah, well, this is what I need. Let's do this.
I really like theirs.
And that was great. I'm like, oh my God, it's the first Pony Abridged series, and they're in our movie. This is amazing. So I was geeking. Whenever we got someone on board, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, we got this person. So yeah. And I think that's pretty much all the prep stuff. The only other thing I would say was with the because with the choose your own adventure idea, that really did explode the size of things. And I was just thinking of like lots of little ideas. And originally we had stuff like we should have like an SFM video, and then like a live action video where they complain about being plastic, and then they go, and it's like,
oh yeah, you were gonna have at one point like little characters on your bed and a live
they were
action
just like,
film,
oh,
and
this
you're
sucks.
gonna move them around.
Yeah,
it's gonna be stop motion. It's like, okay.
And that was actually in our map, our little
that was in it quite
map.
Late, because I remember you sadly announcing that you had to like skip it in your
so it doesn't progress the story. It's just a random dumb video.
You know,
you don't have time.
I would say one point I think that is worth clearing up is because it really isn't a choose your own adventure. And I say that because there's not more than one ending. There's one ending. It's one story. It's one holistic story, but you just kind of follow certain characters at certain times through it.
Yeah.
And I really don't know of anyone else who's ever done anything like that. It's, it's like just kind of reading chunks of a book. You can get it in a novel, where you read and you find out this happens to somebody, then everything backs up and you read and you find out, what happened to somebody else. But I don't know if a film or
it's
movie or YouTube
I guess it would
done
be just
that kind of thing.
Like reading a book, except only reading the parts of like what one person's doing and just skipping to their parts.
It's I've seen it in a few like kind of modern video games. It's like, and especially VR, is that it will have like a whole scene play out for like a certain amount of time, and you can explore it, and it's like depending on what you're viewing, you'll slowly discover what's going on, or something like a murder mystery where you can choose what you're watching or listening to. So it's a bit like that, but it's, you know, it's in the format where you're watching pre-made entertainment.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I guess we'll start the movie. I don't think... Does anyone else have anything before we start?
Nope.
Let's do this.
All right. Okay. Here we go.
Magic. I really like the simplicity of the titles. And you're fading in and fading out.
Yeah. This,
And that montage of sound.
Definitely, I mean...
sort of... I kind of threw it together a bit, but it was just sort of... Because I wanted to bring about the motifs of the, like what had just happened previously. So it's like you remember, oh yeah, that's what happened. You know where you are. And it's just like a nice epic, like, are they actually going to keep playing the Smile HD? What's going to happen?
And is this original animation on Pinky?
This is from Brutal Weather, or Egogak Pro Channel from the Brutal Weather team. And he, I just came to him and said, hey, we need a custom animation. We need Pinky, like, distraught, like, really make her look upset. And he said, like, he felt like, oh, he got shivers when he was hearing the audio and animating it. So that was really nice to hear.
Did you send him the audio first?
I sent him the audio first, yeah, so he can animate over it.
Interesting. I also like how we're... Go ahead, Tester.
This whole opening scene is just like, it's got the best feeling to it. Like, this animation at the beginning, but the sound design, I think, is like... It's like nothing I've ever heard. The way the music kind of blends into this kind of creaky sound.
Yeah, Kat did a great job. So Kat did pretty much the music, like basically the music and all this. And this opening scene is definitely like something he did. It's sort of an ambiance type thing, but then it does morph into like sort of creaking ships and just sounds, and there's like little subtle things, but then it hits like really hard when Discord shows up, and Kat did a great job.
It's that's the best part. It's a boom, and Discord comes in. It was really good that we brought back the editor. We really tried to bring a lot of pieces from everything else we could, going back to the very first episode.
That's actually kind of funny, because the editor was not in the film for the longest time. And it was like Pinky was the one that had gotten them out, and it was like she had summoned some last strength of force, or I don't know, something dumb. But I think like at one point it's like, oh, what if the editor was Discord? But it's like, well, the editor's been kind of stupid the whole series. I don't want that to be Discord. So it's like, let's not do that.
I think we even used that sketch right there that they just did with doing it for tension.
Yeah.
We were going to do that earlier.
Bring that back, because, bring the editor. I think I had Sly come in and look at this, and he spotted like 2 spelling mistakes. I was like, all right, fix that.
Yes, that's
okay. That's me.
Dawn Summer just nails this. Greg Hoffman just nails. I really like his Pinky. Not that I didn't like it first, or Trixie.
Greg does a great job. This is why I put him on here, because he can do this kind of character really well.
Way beyond our abilities, and he's trying to come with the editor.
And I like how everyone stops and reads all of that text, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The stinking chips.
Trixie just said Ponyville's gone crazy. And what about my...
I love that shot where it's like she like reacts to the text. It's like little moments like that. Sometimes they work.
Oh, I think it's great. Good.
Yeah.
And I like it when she does the
editor.
Not skipping too much here.
The editor.
Hello. And then it does the little.
Sneaky. I wondered why my fun had been so rude.
Hello.
Interrupted.
Oh God.
And then Anna. Anna's great. Anna's great to work with too.
Yeah.
I really like and then like we just like get in conversations after the recording, and then she does like great improv and stuff. And, it was a lot of fun working with Anna.
kind of has that malevolent sound to her, or what she did with this.
Gotta get out of here.
Well, I'm guessing that was discard.
Although it had like an amazing vibe in 25 to seriousness, like this, it feels more like a film. It's like it actually makes it feel like you're starting a movie rather than just another episode.
I won't get the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that helped. There may have been a point where the theme was going to be used, but then it was just like it doesn't mesh with the tone, so just have a movie opening. Control.
But still, you've already worked in the comedy. I think Trixie's like, I'm not going to get the chance to miss the editor.
Yeah.
and then she points out the control thing.
Tried to write out ahoe. Also, he misspelled control.
Okay, Python Joe. And he was
Yeah.
control, and it was.
Netflix? Who knows? This is stupid.
Wait a minute.
Just lots of little. I think that was your idea, having the Netflix thing, and then that was the distraction for Discord at the end.
Yeah.
Hey?
No, the viewers, the people out there watching us right now.
Oh, you mean my adorable
This is what-
fans.
Sure,
Oh,
that one guy
so
and everyone else.
it was
I have
poor reactors to your shows. They hit this part and they go, oh,
Oh,
crap.
I guess you're dead then. Whoops.
I'm just so sad because that was great.
I always
Oh
thought it was.
yeah, a lot of some.
Yeah, right there. They'd be facing this. Oh, am I supposed to do something?
Oh, it looks like I have to go on YouTube.
Oh, crap.
I can't just download this.
Oh, no, Pinky.
Oh, and we have to watch her die.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're going to have to watch
We have to watch all
the
of it.
deaths.
So yeah, she does die if you didn't save her.
Powerless.
The same video. Hang on.
So it is technically a choose your own adventure. You could choose to do nothing and kill off the character.
Yes,
guess
there is
so.
that.
I guess so. All
Technically,
right. Okay. I
just because that
stand
one video.
corrected.
Well, I think there's 2 deaths.
To join in the fun this time.
She
And
almost
those
died.
two
Oh
friends
yeah, there is.
to
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, she does.
But why?
Yeah, a couple times.
I mean, you don't
I
really
like-
care about them.
I
do
like
you?
how now she engages
Because
us,
the
or
ponies
yeah,
trampling
he
stone
Discord
for
engages us
1,000
at this
years
point. It's
after
like,
all.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm
glad you
the
could join
good guy
in.
here.
Because yeah, first you're like,
This is
what?
one of
And then
those
now you're
just
like,
revenge
oh,
stories you
oh,
write
it's like a
about.
full on. You have to choose. Oh no, what do we
Help
do?
me look for them.
I really did think we were going to make Discord sympathetic with this idea that it's a revenge story, the just revenge. I mean, she was in prison for 1,000 years. It kind of
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'd be pretty
you don't
ticked at the
have all
ponies too,
day.
but
I think you mentioned how the reactors were a bit shocked by how they had to do stuff. It was definitely difficult for them to record it because they couldn't just
yeah.
export it and put it next to their face.
Yeah. Some of them made it, but others just kind of quit and they just did one video of the first thing and.
Everything is a bit swifty at the moment. What do you mean?
Swifty.
Scene outside, man?
This scene was hard to write because you have to go through. It's too long.
There's so many details in that shot.
That's like a whole other video. Everything, basically, everything in there is like
Sheep.
is a background, is like an inside joke from the Scootertrix Discord, and it's. If you want, you can actually go to the Discord wiki and learn all of the stuff that's happened. There is a Scootertrix Discord wiki.
It's not any worse than cow curses or
Anyway, though, so this scene, it was difficult to write because you have to go through so many different things. It's like, like, why was Pinky trying to hit us? What? We're in a library now. What's going on? You know. And so this scene was too long, in my opinion. It's like 8 minutes, but I don't know how you can cut it down.
Well, she did.
I don't know.
So,
It sure looked like
just because there's so much to get through in just 1 or 2 lines, without it seeming fast.
Maybe it was the vortex.
In my mind, this is always kind of the middle passage because when we drew out the map, these ones following the main 6,
Yeah.
the main 5 were kind of down the middle. And this is where I think I put in here's some basic story plotting and some basic writing, and then you had to work with all the other guys.
Yeah.
So a lot of it.
Get away from the
Oh,
window. So why does possession
the
make
mayor.
more sense
Or
than
the
changing the
vortex. I wanted to bring the mayor.
Yeah.
You can tell if someone's possessed from their eyes. They become
Yes, because while you weren't so big on your like story beats back then, you can imagine having to like apply like an act structure to several different branches. Oh, what had
a nightmare.
Yeah, we certainly didn't focus on an act structure. There's a lot more. We want to make this point, and we want to get to this point, and how do we do that? And so it was really kind of a point to point to point to point.
Yeah.
Well, if we can solve
I don't even know if that's a thing, but so we did.
What the
Why does everything taste green?
Yeah, so okay, so when we were discussing stuff with the other abridgers, basically I gave them a choice. And it was either you can have characters show up in the main library where we're just going to have a ton of people just show up and you can just send in a character, you know. So if you don't want to do too much work and you just want a character in there, then you can just send someone in. Or you can do a whole crossover segment. And that one, it's a lot more work, but you get basically full creativity. You just can't kill our character. Our character has to leave by the end. That kind of stuff. And so some people chose one or the other. Some people chose both. But I wanted the Candlelot to show up first here because it's the series that we've already crossed over with, and sort of it's like characters can kind of connect the dots first before we get into more advanced series.
Yeah, it did a very good job of explaining the whole idea of a crossover and why they can actually do that in the parallel dimensions because of the earlier crossover.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's why your dash is so screwed up.
Our the bird is perfectly
And
fine.
it's still that same character too, going back and
Yeah.
forth. Yeah.
You want to say that again, Gumdrop?
Gumdrop?
So there was one guy. So Blue 15 Bomber, he edited most of the library scenes.
You still
By
worked
the end,
him to
he was
death.
He's fed up with it. He was just like, it's like, hey Jack, what else do you have for me to work on? It's like, well, there's library scenes that still need to be done. And he's like, all right, send him over. And so he got really fed up by the end of this because it's really repetitive. There's not a whole lot of shots. The reason I chose the library is because all the characters are in there at some point, and you have like at least a little variety.
Supernatural?
You know, you can't do this like outside because there's stuff going on outside, and you know, there's really nowhere else. So the library was a choice to put this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because there's supposed to be chaos outside.
Yeah.
Who is that doing?
I forgot her name. But it is from the Camaraderie Supernatural
It's in the credits,
universe.
I know. But,
And I love her acting. Like she did such a good job.
it is fantastic.
There's like one or two lines that felt like they could be cringe, but she gave so much energy to them that they're not cringe, and they're great. And she just did a phenomenal job. She put everything into the role. The Camaraderie team just put everything into this. Like they went with the idea on Twitter. They even did like little hints and stuff on their Twitter feed. It's like, oh, something's happening,
cool.
you know. And they like went all out for it. So you know, it was really great to work with them. I was so glad because I just sort of sent them as a courtesy, sent them an email as a courtesy thing. It's like, might as well. They are one of the big ones, and they just brought so much to the table. So you know.
I like the whole explanation that she had to do. You did that Pope in the pool of just looking at the different characters who are absolutely lost
Yeah,
while she goes through this
yeah.
explanation.
This was also a good opportunity for the Pinky to, you know, like for them to kind of give a bit of backstory on what would have happened in their series. So for any like hardcore Supernatural fans, they would have gotten a bit more story, basically.
So other rarity, you're from another dimension.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that Pinkie Pie kind of like pulled it all together in like understanding what was going on, especially since isn't she like the element of fourth wall breaking or something?
Yeah.
So and I just remember her send off at the end. So it kind of, I don't know, I just kind of imagine it as like a stick through the whole thing.
I was impressed between the continuity between this one and the UFP one. I think we nailed that too because you see their rarity character is the one who's missing, and
Yeah.
Listening to the first explanation.
So let me get this straight.
And yeah, Ultrafast came in on board.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ultrafast. That's what I meant,
yeah.
Ultrafast.
And I'll actually talk about, so
Why is this happening?
so this part of the scene actually, so I say that this part was hard, but in terms of the abridging side, this was like actually pretty simple to write. We just kind of got everyone in and we knocked it out within like an hour or two of just like, oh, what would your character say in this situation? What would they do? You know, and kind of toss it to the other person. We're all in like, we have like this Discord server with all the, there's a Discord server running around with all the abridgers on it basically. And that's what we use to communicate and, you know, just threw in ideas. And this first segment was just really easy from that aspect. And so, yeah, we got what we needed.
We're gonna have to get her back.
And how are we gonna find her?
There's a spell for it.
Well, this
Who is
has all
that?
been fun,
That's me.
but
There's a spell for it.
Oh,
Yeah, but that
no.
wasn't your.
Right here.
Was that
Stop
who was
calling
that? Was
That's
supposed to be
that's
from?
ours.
I can go to
It's just she says it.
my house.
There's a spell for it.
Just Jack's such a good actor.
I thought that was like a different abridged, like it was Bean Quest or something.
No.
I was like, there's no point.
Is there some Bean Quest in there? I know there's a couple of lines
There
in there.
is Bean
Some
Quest.
random lines.
We'll talk about that later.
Have you tried blocking out all distractions yet?
I love the distraction line. That's just gorgeous.
Yeah, this
They
is
all start
it's just
talking.
okay. We need them to talk while we have like the title credits go on. You have lots of
Distraction now.
different
Are you concentrating
options.
now? Are you concentrating?
Oh God!
Stop. A little bit of a color change. Stop.
Which is this?
So this is the
We're in the white zone now for the.
the setup for the
multiverse.
abridges,
Oh.
and so you kind of see this Thrakkerzod flying. I made sure that the eyes blinked just to give it a little more detail, and so it's not just a floating image. So it gives it a bit more life, and then
What all? It was. I have to say, it was rather quiet. I know there's little bits that you're hearing.
it's just sort of it's supposed to be like it's almost like memories or something, or it's like oh you can hear like all these series going on. It's like whoa,
It's a bit
You know,
like
it's sort of
it's a bit like the pools in Narnia. Or yeah.
yeah.
little dream sequence.
So then we have Friendship is for Adults.
This is the darkest of all of them, which
It
is
is.
nice because it gave enough dimension.
The pinky from the other series.
Another dimension.
Oh, thanks, Celeste.
Yeah, that's what they.
Perfect. We could really use
Fun fact: this was the first abridged segment to be written, but it was the second last video to be completed for the movie.
Not saying anything.
It just goes to show you the what happens. I will say it was one of the easiest to edit though, because it's just still images, and it was so easy to finish.
Who did the artwork?
So
that Kai?
oh yeah, so this was Kingpin who did the
It's
artwork.
beautiful.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No way.
he did.
Oh, well, your comic artist. That's fantastic.
Yeah, Kingpin also did the comic art, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, Kingpin did that as well. He did all the artwork here. And he actually did this. It wasn't like the Canalot approached him separately from us, so it was a kind of a coincidence. But maybe I'd like advised them or him to them because
Okay.
it was like, oh, I know
Referred
a
him.
comic artist, and then we just used him for our thing later.
Okay.
So, but that's who they asked.
That was neat. The swear word was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
That was
Sorry.
we missed that one.
It's funny because I watched this 3 times.
Well, I
then
swear I watched and there was
at
only the
3 a.m.
one F-bomb. And I'm like, oh, we probably need to edit that just for the sake of the continuity of the universe that
Yeah.
we created. And then there was a second one. I'm like, where did that come from?
It's like,
I still think that Kai just stuck that
whoops.
in.
And the comment section's
Yeah.
not going to let that slide.
But I looked at it at 3 a.m. on the night before this was supposed to be released, and then Kai looked at it, and it slipped through everyone. So
It just.
I was
gives you
surprised when
a
I saw it. I'm
little-
like, wait.
There's just that little bit, that little imperfection that makes it ever so more beautiful.
You can have one F-bomb
There's
in a
one
PG
F-bomb.
thing, I think. And that was it. There you
For the
go.
whole series.
For the whole series. There you go.
Consider it a tribute to every other abridged series that does it continuously.
We can swear. We can.
Come with us.
That was their pinky supposed to be talking, I think, by the way.
It
I don't
was.
think they had any of the
Gets reinforcements.
No!
any
We're not
pictures
getting
of her
involved
talking.
in your war. That's our universe's final say.
I love FIFA. Do we call it that, or is it just FIFA?
Yeah, we call it FIFA. I call it FIFA.
Yeah.
I don't, because I'm not a sports fan.
It's great.
I
it's
FIFA's friendship is for
I,
adults.
I wish they would do more, but it's like they do have like so many really interesting ones. Like their radio plays are the best.
It's
That's
definitely
their best. Stuff.
it's definitely a different.
all the characters.
It's a tonal shift, isn't it? Though, from all of the other series, it's
Yeah.
it's really fun, but it's also quite serious.
I like how he says, I like your work.
We could figure something out.
Oh yeah, that was he just threw that in there because it's like because he is a fan of mentally advanced.
That's what I
so-
thought. And that's kind of a neat little fourth wall thing, too. It's like,
Yeah.
I like your work. It's like, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
He shoots him.
Now get out.
Big fan.
Thanks.
Thanks. All right.
How'd you have Greg do that one? Make a little yelling sound as you jump into a void.
I think Greg is like, oh no, no, poor Trixie. Oh no. So when he hears, oh, they shoot at her. Oh. And then this is the void where you would choose what goes next.
Ooh, that's
And then
interesting.
we have,
Is that a one-off effect?
they insisted to have a different portal because it fit more with their canon, I guess.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
cool.
is a different port. You know, I never noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice either.
So they're the only video in the movie that.
Is this dual shade then?
Yes, this is the dual shade one.
I think I like this. I have to admit, of the one segments that are added of these other Abridged universes, I really enjoy this one, and I do like the banter. How much Trixie's tired of it. I know you had to work with that, but it was.
Yeah. So, we actually had. So what happened was, I sent the lines off because there's a line coming up here with Greg, and he's talking about, and he says something of like, he's like
pages.
8 separate PDFs, and this is true. I sent him basically 8 separate PDFs. It's like, here's all the Trixie lines, and then he recorded them, and he basically just improv the whole thing. And it was just Trixie's reaction to getting 8 PDFs with no context. They're not in order. And Trixie's just annoyed the whole time, and I'm like, oh, I can't use any of this.
No,
I need to say the lines, and so I basically like when I text him back. I'm like, okay, we need to do like a live recording here, and I'll give you the motivations and stuff because that was just completely an oversight on my part. But some of his improv lines did make it in, and this episode actually had a couple of them. So. And the 8 PDFs was one of them. That was one of his improv lines.
Your writers are terrible.
Well, all right then. We'll head on over to the Camelot Library.
He is a great improv
Send
artist.
Rainbow back and be done with this mess before the day is over.
The libraries are boring.
Oh,
Boom.
He always, apparently Jared always has the sound effect in every episode.
Who does who did the whole animation and everything? Or is this
That
all
would have been
dual shade?
Jared. Yeah,
Okay.
this is Dual
They're
Shade
doing all
Studios.
the
Jared does
animation.
the editing. There's a lot of because what he and his team. I think he's the only editor, but what he does a lot is he does a lot of the green screening characters out. Like that shot right there was probably green screened.
I don't know what in the fresh hell's going on.
Like that's all green screened.
I don't know what the fresh hell's going on.
Was
What
it?
was with the what counter? Did they always do that? I haven't seen them.
No,
That's
that
the
was
one
just a
I've seen.
sketch for the episode, I think.
Yeah.
I like the dual shed Rainbow Dash voice actor.
Yeah, you know, maybe it's best to find a.
Yeah, he says like a line in here that I really like. It's like kind of later on in this episode, but it's like just the way he said it. I'm like, oh, wow, it's like poetry or something.
Here until the episode finishes.
Yeah, conveniently unfortunate.
Oh yeah, this was weird. So for this one episode, they had for some reason to wait until the end of this episode because we were trying to think of ways of like, why don't they just leave? Because that was it. Because YouTube got rid of their cards or their little links and stuff, so we had to use the end cards. So we had to wait till the end of the video for them to leave, but then we thought about having it so that like you have to wait till the video ends, but there was one part where Trixie leaves the video before the video ends, so we couldn't do that, and we had to think of a random reason. And for this, it's just in this universe you have to wait till the end.
Couldn't you have
And
used
that's it.
iCards?
This exchange is not nearly as funny as the writers thought.
They could have, yeah.
Okay.
Whoops. Uh-oh.
That's a really good idea.
Well, actually, I think people notice the end cards more because that iCard on one of them, nobody noticed. Seemed to notice.
Yeah, no one noticed one of them. Well, watch it here. If you haven't seen any of the videos, they're all here. So you'll see anything you missed.
But as our visitor said before, the fourth has been destroyed. So that means I'm allowed to be meta. Even though to me...
And they're like,
sounds
you
some
can't
sort
say
of
shit in
bullshit.
this universe. And they just like dropped an F-bomb in the last one.
Seriously?
It's like,
Censor me? This
Where's
is
all the
our
crossover?
universe. Why did you bring your PG-13 bull poop here?
Rules of the crossover. It's out of our hooks.
Love
It's like,
it.
wait a minute.
Let's get you two out of here
The
so I can
logic
make
is
use of
broken.
Maybe they're just omnipresent in the FIFA universe. Not omnipresent,
Yeah,
omnipotent.
They're the next level.
Yeah.
That's apparently a detail where Rarity's stealing something from that guy.
I swear to Celestia, if she says a disturbance in
And
the
then,
force,
yeah,
I'm going to
Fluttershy
lose
has
it.
her shoulder angels.
All right,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was much worse.
That's what
It was
that
like
is.
she was intentionally
They
avoiding the
kind of
joke.
went through an evolution. Like they kind of stuck up behind her at one point. But I think that might just be easier as you just do that.
The other me.
Well, yes, that's who I found.
I think
There's a lot of creative ideas.
Fake it. Fake it.
I think Dual Shades. I think they announced recently that they're getting close to ending their series.
Yeah.
They're going to like 28 episodes or something.
That's great. A reference.
I'll make you eat those words.
That's
Is
impressive.
that directed
Wow.
at me? Because this all feels really superfluous.
Better call me. Better call
Little
me.
bit of me.
Wait,
I
is
like
that a reference to their series?
Yeah.
How would you know that?
Because I've watched it.
Also, is no one else concerned that she isn't phased about the fact that she's talking to herself?
Look who's talking.
I feel like you're funneling a bit of what you want Trixie to be into this
I
Trixie.
really want to get this over with.
Get right over
The kind of
Oh,
snarky.
Sorry, but the gist of it
It's
is that I
okay.
just
So
want to work
actually,
out the time and
so Script Trixie and how Greg interpreted Trixie are a little different. Like Script Trixie was a bit more like she kind of
Do you have to deal with
learns a little. Like she becomes a little kinder by the end, and you see this actually in the comic.
Comic, really, yeah.
Yeah, the comic is kind of you see a bit more of
and that.
Script Trixie,
Please get out
but
of
this
here.
Trixie is like much more
Vicky, don't blow up the
snarky,
tower, you count a lot.
which I think is fine. You know, it fits her character.
I guess because like
And
all
it's
the other
so-
Trixie, like yeah,
Those
we had to choose like pick like images of Trixie that fit the way that Greg was
Yeah.
like saying it.
Oh my god, that'd be hard. How do you do that? How much research you have to do, Toasterless, as far as like going through all these episodes to find the right?
There's green screen
Shots.
ponies, and there's asking Jack for all of his footage of Trixie.
Or is that not fitting?
That's the way it goes.
Fine, we need
I
to
d-
Is
have
you
I-
find the
Greg
green
Green
screen
is
ponies, they don't have it.
Fine.
Then I send them
Spike,
footage for
let's
them to
just
green
write
screen.
It was more for stuff like Discord, where there were already two existing shots you had of him.
Oh yeah.
But I guess
That-
you'll see that later.
Yeah,
We-
we'll
we
see that
use-
later.
They are well used.
Similar,
They are well
but
used.
slightly
But as you're
different.
watching it, like the first
Well, I just
time,
wanna
first
know
few
if I can
times, you don't really
trans
notice it too
universe
much.
quantum is all.
Yeah,
I
sure.
know because I've watched this
The bird's
thing
pretty alright,
so
I
many
suppose.
times.
What? I'm a
I do
bird
enjoy
in
it.
your
No, your name is the bird.
What foul sorcery besieged me to turn into a bird? How will
See
I
that
ever
I
know
like.
what
I don't know why I
you
like
do
that so
next?
much.
What
What fell
sorcery?
sorceries?
In this universe?
Turn me to a bird.
Don't tumor her.
I'm telling you, it's the voice actor. It's just amazing.
I'm thinking of a screenplay called The Snap.
And then Trixie, like
So,
Trixie's,
the Snap.
Snap?
Who wrote up the
Thing
snap
here.
line? The snap.
that was them.
Snap.
They did a
Snap?
yeah.
No, it's The Snap.
As invested as I am in your exuberant film career, I
This
actually
response.
am not invested. I lied. Can we just move on?
That was an improv line from Greg.
Yeah,
I lied. I'm not invested. Just
Hey, time travel.
Oh, Spike. I'll be right back. I just remembered I need to use a time spell to go back and warn myself about all this so we don't collapse the timeline.
Do you want to warn yourself about all this
I kind of
know
like
that
their
shot.
Spike.
nonsense this
Oh
time?
yeah.
well, that's the creator is Spike. So it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting that
like,
he's the
"Take
punching
me
bag in the
with
series.
you."
And he's also the creator. So it's an
Yes,
interesting.
Well, okay, bye.
Later.
they don't wait around.
Just an
And,
awkward.
and this
black
is an
bar at the
actual
top.
episode from them. That's for the
Yeah.
the credits. Yeah.
Did they ever have any?
Yeah, they had credits.
Okay.
We don't see them. 'cause
Oh, really?
it's- Or no,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
the
That's
end
for the
cards.
portals.
Right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And there's also-
Alright, if we just keep series jumping, maybe. Trixie? Trixie?
It's kind of cool. They started at the pool again because that's kind of where we had that crossover piece
yeah.
Hey there,
originally
fellow
set
Cutie
up.
Pie.
So
How are you? Great. You know, I'm feeling really confident. I think I got
So this was the first segment to be completed for the crossover stuff. Because Ultrafast is
Ultrafast gets it done.
he gets it done. He wrote it pretty quickly. He got it done pretty quickly.
I see a pattern. How
yeah.
many episodes does he have now?
He's got almost. Does he have 100? He does have 100 now. He has 100 episodes.
God, he's
This guy's
just
a machine.
he's just a powerhouse.
Almost.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know actually. I think he does.
Put in marshmallows. I'll put marshmallows.
No,
in
he
my
doesn't
mouth.
have 100 episodes. No, I lied. He's almost
Got
there.
7.
He'll have it by the time you finish that sentence.
I'm just observant.
I like that you're nailing that.
So I should mention, so all these scripts were written by the other series. So all these individual ones where they go to the different series, that is by them. The only thing script wise I would have done would have been edit like Pinky and Trixie's responses. But that's the only thing. And then when it comes to editing, it was sort of a mixed bag. I basically, to sweeten the deal, I offered to edit for them. And some took up the offer, some didn't. Ultrafast and Dual Shade did not. But then Witchcraft I edited, and the Friendship is for Adults I edited, and then the other one I think I sent to Geeky Steven, the Friendship is Pandering.
Ooh, Geeky Steven.
So we the Scootertrix edited 3 of these, but this was not one of them. This is all Picard.
So when you did the FIFA one, that was just with the stills.
That was just with the stills, yeah. So audio cut and then just putting the stills on.
Mm-hmm. So when they would you just get like the script back, or would you tell them, hey, here's the plot points I want you to hit?
No, I would just say, hey, you can do whatever you want, any characters you want to have in there, just as long as Pinky and Trixie don't die,
and they don't get help.
And they don't get help, they leave. That's pretty much it.
But with this one, you have their Rarity, who goes into the other universe, and then you do this
we
quick
negotiated
pop-out.
on what.
Okay.
I think what I did was I asked him, "Hey, what character do you want in this main library scene?" And we decided on it, and then he wrote this, and it's like, okay, I don't have Rarity in this scene, so.
Did you kind of have...
I like Rainbow Puppet in now. Go ahead, sorry.
No, just, did you have to tell them, like, what to do with, Pinky and Trixie, or, like, are they just supposed to be audience stand-ins?
So I basically kind of gave their characters, and then say it's like, just write their dialogue, and then they send the script to me, and then I would rewrite or edit their dialogue, and I would try as much as I could not to edit their side of the script. So I wouldn't touch their dialogue, and I would try to make it so that the sentence would still work. The sentence after my dialogue would work.
So this whole thing about you legally have to tell me if your universe makes us stupider, was all UFP?
Because you have to legally... That was probably them, yeah.
That's such a UFP line.
Yeah, it is.
I'm kind of annoying.
That's a UFP line.
So, yeah. So I guess that's true. So basically all the Pinky and Trixie, aside from some edits of mine, would have just been the writers, whatever they wrote.
First I have to choose a new Pinkie Pie, then Rarity has disappeared to Celestia.
I think I meant rather like, what was their motivation? Like, what did you tell them, like, what they were supposed to be doing, like Pinky and Trixie?
Yeah, so we said, okay, they come in and they're looking for either aid, to hide, or to run. And that was kind of the gist.
Okay.
So how much did the other Abridgers know about what everything was going to be?
The other Abridgers would have known that it was a giant crossover. And that was kind of, it's a choose your own adventure, and it's a giant crossover. And we'll let you know when it all comes out, kind of. There was a little bit more collaboration with the main scene, though, because these crossover segments, no one else really knew it, unless you were working on a particular segment. You didn't really know too much about what happened in the other ones,
right?
Unless you saw it in the Discord chat, because they would send them to me sometimes. So people would have seen the Ultrafast segment, and they would have seen the Dual Shade segment.
Because the UFP one has some bits that apply to the regular stuff. It's not like major plot points.
Yeah, we collaborated. We worked on the library first, I think, and then I said, okay, knowing these characters do that.
Because you legally have to tell me if your world makes Pony stupid. Nobody here is stupid. Now stand still so I can kill you, whatever your name is.
It is interesting. You have so much of
talking to Pinkie Pie. Oh God.
Greg Hoffman in the Dawn somewhere in this, but you don't have his abridged.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of
an intentional thing.
It might have ruined it. Not ruined it. Just it might be a bit weird if he was kind of. He's also voice acting people from two universes.
You didn't have the mentally advanced.
Oh,
you know.
He didn't want to do a a separate episode. I don't think he just wanted to send someone in.
You had Apple. Yeah,
he sent Applejack in.
Okay.
Yeah, I did see comments where people were like, "Oh, I wish there was more Mentally Advanced," because it is one of the bigger series, so I think people did want to see,
Yeah, it's got some.
And there's a lot of characters like that would have been fun, like Pinky would have been fun, or Dash, or Twilight would have been really fun,
The evil Pinky.
But I mean, I personally really like Applejack from Mentally Advanced. I like all the characters from Mentally Advanced.
Yeah.
I can't. When I think about
Applejack
one,
was a great choice. It's just reeled down. No problem. What you really want me to do that?
And this is the pandered one.
And this is the hidden one. This is
the hidden one that a lot of people didn't see. But they kind of, I think the guy said he wanted it to be more of an Easter egg type thing too.
Pinky, what are you saying?
We're in a crossover.
Okay, great.
And then these guys, I think have 2 episodes, and they've been working on their 3rd one for so long. Because they're doing like custom lip syncing and all this extra editing stuff.
Showed us
and they're doing a lot of editing.
How long did it take to get this one?
This one was pretty fast. Well, because we edited this one.
Oh, okay.
So they just sent the script over, and I sent it to Geeky Steven, one of our editors. And Geeky actually did a review on our series a while ago. But he...
Yeah.
But I sent it to him. He's like, okay, I'll edit this. But it's very quick. The guy didn't want it that long. I said basically it's like you can have it anywhere from 30 seconds to like 10 minutes. Not too long. If you're sending it to us to edit, I mean, we'll pull the weight, but
it's just some random.
Because she has wings.
It's kind of neat. You did have also Easter eggs, because that was some of the comments that I saw. People would go through. Oh, I didn't see that. I missed this one. So they have to go back.
There's a comic strip.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, here we go.
And the witchcraft segment. Yeah. So I got to edit this. I was so like, I've edited for Friendship is Witchcraft. It's a bit of a geek moment because there's a series that got us into abridging in the first place, and it was really great to work with Griffin.
The world of Friendship is Witchcraft is zany, complex, and self-aware.
It is.
Our unique spin
Yes.
on the world of equine
It's like
is
that's
full
just
of all
it. It's
kinds of
just
clever,
Celestia.
highbrow
It's just
And the
Celestia.
picture.
For
Is that
Celestia
comedic by
standalone
design,
adventure.
or is that just you had to work around the?
It's okay. Oh, real quick. So that shot. So in the trailer, there's the trailer where you have like the Sweetie Belle on the Windows
like the Moors.
98 background screen.
XP.
That was that shot. That's what that was supposed to be. And then when he saw it, it's like, oh, I wouldn't have. I was more just thinking of this. And it's like, oh, okay. Because we thought it's like, because in the script it just says Sweetie Belle stands motionless in a field, and so we did like this sort of paranoia agent looking shot, and then it's like, oh no, it's just like it's just a still image. But that's what that shot was supposed to be, was of Sweetie Belle.
Yeah.
It is. And also, you mean a nightmare?
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge because we didn't have Jenny to do any of the most of the cast, but Griffin still had like Sweetie Bot and Celestia and the Diamond Char and Silver Spoon. Like he had iconic witchcraft characters still.
Right.
And so he chose to go with just Celestia, which I still wish there could have been a little bit of Sweetie Bot, but that would have ruined the story in this, because the story is basically everything's kind of weird and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and then by the end you realize
she shut it down, and
Celestia shut it down, and Pinky's like in actual danger here. Like she has to tread carefully here. So it just the situation gets more and more dire as you go.
We're crazy powerful.
She just wipes out
powerful
Thorax.
Yeah.
Remember me, Princess Celestia?
Remember me?
Yeah, you were in the first part of the.
And over there is Starlight, Glimmer, and Trixie. They're lesbians.
They're lesbians. Wow, that's original.
And who's that?
Oh my God, he's hideous! Jesus Christ!
That derpy was not intentional. We saw that later. in the tree. There's a derpy like poking her head out of the nest there in the tree. This was fun to do.
Ooh.
And then Atomic did that.
Did you
that
do
little
the
flash?
purple?
Yes, sir,
No,
I
that was
have.
animation in the show.
I do
Definitely.
remember
okay.
that.
My incredible magical abilities to
I
place a
must admit, I
silencing
did
spell on this
spend a
entire
little
crazy
too much time
universe
working on the
just so I could
witchcraft
get a
segment
few
and
fleeting
doing
moments
all
of
little
peace and quiet.
Oh.
I guess cutting stuff out and stuff because I was like, it's witchcraft, it has to look good.
Finally learning how to mask.
So I started masking for the first time. I'm really proud of it because I got her like when she's quivering and like her eyes are like watering. It's there's definitely some masking there going on.
Well, seeing as you're a pink pony, why don't you just open the portal, jump in?
But lots of witchcraft references. I don't think too many witchcraft fans have seen this episode because it's on the old Sherclop channel.
She never gets callbacks.
But I don't know how else we could advertise it. But it's like there's another witchcraft episode.
When you did the editing and everything, all those extra sound effects and stuff, was that you putting those in? Okay, based on
all the
what
audio
you would say.
Yeah.
Okay,
Make
it more.
The only thing I didn't edit was that little flash thing when what's his face gets blown up and there's a reaction shot of Pinky and there's that flash. That's the only thing I didn't do.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That Hail Celestia.
Yeah. That was okay. I for some reason that wasn't working, so we had to get that exported from Atomic exported that for me.
Thank you.
Is that the
Please, with sugar on top.
That's the crying. I love that. She's like the lip movements is perfect too because she's like, please.
Now, what was I doing again? Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I also did sort of intermittent freeze frames on some of the hair movements as well to make the shots last a little longer.
That goddamn trumpet. Where are you? Show
but you don't notice them because they're in a
last piece of the nightmare it must destroy.
And that was a fun little
yeah.
Like at the end. It's like, ah! And then witchcraft.
Did you do the trumpets too?
That's a sound effect. Yeah, all the music is also witchcraft too.
Yeah.
Jack didn't make the trumpet noise with his mouth, but that would have been quite funny.
Didn't.
I see what Spike's up to.
Yeah.
This was one of the later ones I think that we wrote. We came back and said, "Oh, let's do." We wanted to get we wanted Donut Joe back in.
Yeah.
We wanted to bring Donut Joe back one more time. And you really tried to get the original guy.
And this is a different guy too. It was weird because we got in contact. It was very hard to get in contact with the original guy, and we got him, but then he wasn't answering. And then we hired this guy, and then right as we recorded this guy, the other guy responded, "It's like, okay, I'm ready." And I'm like, I can't. We already got this guy. So
he did a good job.
He did a great job.
I guess that's satisfying. It is.
So I think I wrote maybe the first 2 lines of this, and then I think you took over.
Yeah,
and you just did whatever.
I just kind of went with it. It was.
What's that?
You know, just kind of wanted them to talk, and it was this sort of this idea of. It's really about, in a sense, it's like about you, Jack. You know, being an artist, you're a person who creates these other worlds for people. You create a movie. You know what you're going to get when you go see a movie. It's not crazy stuff. It's a horror movie. It's going to be a horror movie. It's a comedy. It's going to be a comedy. But reality is like the magic world in here on the outside. It's everywhere. You just have to deal with it. Either you like it or you don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, if you like movies, if you like watching shows, if you want to go see MLP, go see MLP. If you want to go, you know, do business stuff, go do business, whatever you like. But he's a creator, but he does the things he creates, but he lives in the real world in a sense. So it's kind of.
Didn't realize it was that meta.
It is a meta movie.
I do try to put layers in.
Layers.
No, that's the best kind of writing.
The scene is so therapeutic. It's just fun to sort of just sit there while it's playing.
If you do it with headphones, you hear all the crazy going on outside, so people yell.
You're like, but it's strangely nice. It's like, just down at Donut Joe's.
It's like relax with Donut Joe.
Cool.
ASMR.
Don't ever change Donut Joe.
You better believe it.
Yes, Donut Joe ASMR. And then I chose some witchcraft music, some witchcraft jazz, and then the Journey theme slowed up.
Oh, in the background?
For the background
okay.
music, yeah.
I heard some people yelling. I recognize some of it.
There you go.
And then we get to this.
Now, whose artwork was this originally? This is like a different...
This is from Silly Philly Studios.
And I have to admit, I think a lot of our plotting kind of followed their original plotting.
It did.
But
once we watched it
I
again,
will
was
say
like,
this, we did ours, or at least I wrote ours before I ever saw theirs.
Yeah.
And I guess it is obvious and logical.
That's
why everyone's going with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you try to get her nightmares and she's the nightmare. Okay.
Yeah.
But it still works well.
Yeah.
Miss Shirley always said, write what you know.
That was your line.
Yeah, I
It was like
know.
about that Shirley.
Write what you know.
Anyways, welcome to the team.
It's not really clear. She gets her out before she does
She's
that.
weakened her grasp. Or she's weakened. It doesn't matter. Magic.
Magic. How hard? I mean, did you have a lot to work with when you're editing these? Or Toasters, were you on these ones?
Nope.
This was like a mix of me, Blue Bomber. It's just like a couple people who worked on this one. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think like what Big Apple worked. I think Big Apple just did 26. I'm not sure if he did anything on the movie.
This is Wubcake, right?
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, Wubcake did a great job. Yeah, she didn't have as many lines as I thought she would have, but it was like, oh wow, she doesn't have a whole lot of screen time here. But great to work with Wubcake again as well. Had a lot of fun lines, and we didn't do a live session. She just sort of recorded the lines and sent them. So any changed? I don't think I needed any change, so it was like, yeah, pretty smooth, straightforward.
So is any of this set
Great
up
to work with her
for
again.
26?
Not really.
It kind of just sets up the spies thing a little bit, but I think that may have been 25. I don't know.
We kind of actually set a lot of the spies in 26 and stuff like that a little ways back.
Yeah.
But in this one, this is the problem that Jack had to go through all the time with me, everyone in Toasterless, was that I would write things with no concept of what footage actually exists. And I had at one point, Sombra fell downstairs, and she just said yes, and he was so shocked he just kind of fell over and broke his neck. You know, fell down these stairs and broke his neck. And so it was like,
we can't do that.
You know? So they kind of changed again and again and again. The major thing was there. Everyone talks about your voice coming in on this too, and bringing back Nightmare Moon.
Yeah, Blue Bomber had this idea of like, hey, she's Nightmare Moon. Why not have her speak as her original Nightmare Moon voice? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's okay. That works. And then lots of great music too here from Kat as well.
Resident
Now we kinda,
music maker.
Yeah. And then we have the white space, of course. As we wait for
this
the
one,
next
there had a
segment.
couple. We did some interesting things with the directions you could go, and I think if you originally went over to the Princess and you came back, you can't get back to some of those other ones, which is nice.
I like that that Celestia is the first thing you're gonna see when you come from the abridged segments.
I love that shot. Was that?
And it's like, go back to Scootertrix where things are normal. And it's like,
and then you come
and
into
it's
this,
like the
you've not
Celestia. And then there's all these ponies in the room. It's like, wait,
You're
what
like,
on
what
earth
is going on?
Was that shot Blue Bomber where they're all just arguing over each other?
No, that was Atomic.
Really?
Actually, Atomic did that one. Yeah.
I seem to remember someone putting it together. I thought it was Blue Bomber, but I do remember Blue Bomber doing a lot of the placing the ponies down in this library, though.
He did a couple. Like some of them I cut, but then some of them didn't make it. I could figure out specific shots.
Did you try turning your magic off, then on
Turning your magic off and on. That was such a great joke, though. People just, if you hadn't seen, if you just went over to UFP or whatever, and then you came into this, you're like, what? Just like you said, like, what is going on? And that's where everyone would just be so confused. And that's why you have to keep going.
You have to keep watching. You have to go back or so. Yeah.
Don't go back.
Pinkie Pie.
Just watch the whole path so it makes it smooth.
Am I Pinkie Pie? No, you're Pinkie Pie 4.
Maybe we're all.
My Pinkie
Something to
Pie.
talk about. Yeah, it's like we had the.
There we go.
There we go. There's Bean Quest.
There's Bean Quest.
That was added in like after the scene was basically edited. Because people kept on being like, because Toaster's one of these people, but they keep on advocating for Bean Quest. And it's like, Bean Quest is great, bring back Bean Quest. And then everyone loves Dash and Bean Quest.
It is a masterpiece.
So.
Oh, I forgot how much of a meme Bean Quest Rainbow Dash was. For like,
Fine, I'll put in Bean Quest.
While we were going crazy editing this film, we just do the Bean Quest Rainbow Dash voice.
Oh.
What was the line? I can't even remember. That we kept saying.
It's like, it seems like your dorsal synthetic charm casing. There's a problem with you need to realign your dorsal synthetic.
Oh, that's a line you always wanted there too.
And myself.
Rarity,
that's
rarity,
from
rarity,
Venture Brothers.
And myself.
Me, and me.
This is kind of one of your big things you like to do, though, when you're writing comedy, where you just have a lot of people talking, a lot of stuff going on.
Wait, where'd she go?
Yeah, I got that from Mentally Advanced. Because I think they pulled that off really well.
You kind of got that from your home life, I think.
And my home life.
Just have lots of people and lots of noise.
So I should talk a little bit about the... Oh, we have... Yeah, everyone's here. We have Friendship Goes Hard.
In this one too.
Yeah, she did. Sawyer did do editing in this one.
She did editing. I think it was...
Yeah.
Oh, it's
like around
I think
part.
he's talking to you. That was the previous one.
And so Sawyer got in on the editing for this one.
Go ahead. Or you're talking about the.
So the first segment on this, the writing was great. The second segment, this one, was a little bit of a nightmare to write. Because we finally got a session together where we're all in the same call, and I'm up at like 4 p.m. Some people are up at 8 a.m. Some people are up at 1 a.m. in the morning, and it's like a monster of. But we're all there, and we can be there for like an hour. And then questions come up about like. How does this fit in the story, and how does all this stuff gonna relate to the ending? And when we didn't have answers, the whole thing just collapsed, and we basically lost the use of a meeting. And it was I
remember that.
Not a
you
good
coming
day.
away from that thing.
Yeah,
you were like, oh my god, what does all this mean? We had to start asking. There's a lot of tough writing questions we had to get. We had to get answers.
So that delayed us a week, and then actually that conversation, that meeting, the failure of that meeting actually led to all these like series coming back at the ending, because it was originally like the last you would see of the other Abridged series would be in the segment after this, and that would be it. They'd all leave. But it pushed it forward to they help like defeat Discord in the end. So that that turned out, it gave it like a purpose, because now it's more of a recruiting scene rather than just a random fun thing. Oh look, and it's your scene, Toaster. You want to talk a bit about this?
Okay, so Jack came to me with his artistic director's vision of this scene, where they go through the portal into the video that they're currently in. Yeah, it was. I don't think it was quite exactly how you imagined, but I think how you imagined wasn't quite as feasible as you thought.
Yeah, it was better than I imagined.
Yeah,
because I really didn't think about it.
Yeah, I had to decrease. I had to decrease the brightness slightly so that it didn't just go on forever. Otherwise, it would have looked a bit weird. But I think the effect came out quite well.
Those opening few seconds where you just see the world like moving around is just amazing.
If someone knows a quicker way to do like a recursive effect than that, other than just keep rendering the video and putting it inside of itself, then please tell me for future reference. I'm glad that halfway through we decided to smash it, so that
it's much easier and cheaper
than having to do it the rest of it. I think I got Atomic to do the lip sync here, and then we'll match it with the editing of the different characters I'd already done, so I could just slide it back into this shot. But here, using the classic Pinkie Pie and Discord shots, the Discord shot with the double, the double beard.
The double beard.
I feel like
I like how. That's a good detail with the video is playing on the exact of how long the video is.
Well, yeah, it was going to work until we had to slot in the other sequence with the what was it, with the script fight. It was going to be exactly the right length, But
that actually works better.
Really?
I think, because it's like that segment ends because they cut to another place.
Oh yeah. But I guess it means that they're not inside the YouTube video you're watching, especially since it has a different title, because we changed all the titles under, I think, your dad's suggestion.
How'd you do
under
all the,
his
how'd you do all
suggestion.
the typing and everything.
So this, I basically had a Word document up, and then I basically just copied it. But then I basically just sped it up on like just with editing, and then just cut stuff out, cut out any mistakes or misspellings that happened, and then, or some of them, and then just did that. And then Toaster, you did the rest.
Oh yeah, I asked you and Anatolum to send me a lot of grunts and yeses so that I could edit them together here. Yeah, it's quite weird to listen to all in a row.
It is.
But I you know, it works quite well. Especially, I'm glad that I got the hat that I kept asking you to provide for when they were winning. But
I think everybody appreciated all the different web segments to go to that you had advertised on the side there, and
I think you did an amazing job with this, like the typing and like matching it up to the. It's just amazing.
This was one of your earliest sketches that you had mentioned.
Again, that was in the 30-minute thing.
You're gonna have the script up.
Blue Bomber did this. We just did a little like flicker, so like you can flick between her doing different positions and shots.
That's really effective. Yeah. And I think I can tell it's Blue Bomber because I think that's like that's some sort of old video game texture in the background.
Yeah, he did choose the background. And then that worked where she like bends over and it's like,
But it does work really well, yeah.
Oh, that's so good. It does. Yeah. That was originally A Way to Die. I think it was like every time we did like you chose like a wrong video, it would go into that. And we had this other thing. I think with that one, it was like you'd be stuck on it for a bit, where you'd have to figure out how to actually get outside that video. And it was with what was it? Damn it! Hang on. It was so that video would have had the link in the description, and you have to go to the link in the description to actually escape the video.
I guess you could have like sorry to like say things you could have done, but you could have like set up all of the different ways earlier on so that people would have found the iCards. But then I guess like if you did want them to be more hidden and more of an Easter egg, then because I mean it does work as an Easter egg.
It's hard to But the bird's backstory. Oh, that was the
bird's backstory.
So we had I believe Sawyer did the story, right? You did the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sawyer's here now. Hello.
Hello.
We were walking and talking over in Stuttgart as we were writing.
Yeah, it was an idea. It was basically where Jack had a problem with the bird's backstory and basically trying to explain what was happening with him, and then we were just walking our dog, and my dad set up, we need this and this and this to happen, and I basically, not thinking anything seriously, just kind of started talking about things, and then I wasn't told that it was great or that it was a thing anymore, and then I saw it in the movie, and I was like, oh, I wrote that, and then Jack was like, what? He's like, no, I wrote it, and I was like, no, I did, but I guess technically the team wrote it.
The team wrote it. I think
I came up with the idea because I thought that would be super cool, just having basically the bird's backstory, that the bird really, he thinks he is the bird because he is the bird. There's no other thing in his mind, and then it comes from an accident, and that it's this whole military thing that goes wrong. And so I just thought that'd be a cool idea.
Yeah. I wrote a first draft of this, but then, so Sarah would have had the idea. I wrote a first draft, and then a lot of the first draft got taken out, and it was mostly my dad that wrote this episode. All of this dialogue with the drill sergeant is him, and he voiced it too. So.
That was nice. I got a chance to actually get in and do some of the voice work because it was fun to do the acting. It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Back in the closet.
I will mention, so Big Apple did edit for this. He edited for this part. He edited about a couple minutes on this part, a couple little segments of it.
There's a lot of different things we really tried to knock out for the bird's backstory piece, as far as why he's the bird, you know, where that came from, where the hello came from.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. I think we really got it too. I feel so good about this one.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's really great how it came together. And I love that idea of just the hello and just hello, an immediate response, and it makes sense now, and just all of it, and it doesn't even seem like a stretch. It's not like what was it, the mangoes and the apple thing, where you just kind of had to, you had to dig yourself out of that. This one just felt more natural.
I don't know if that was a stretch. I quite like that.
In his group response to the hello.
It was, I guess it turned out better than, it doesn't look like a stretch, but I remember the rough conversations with Jack coming in and going, well, here's the problem. And then he never intended that to be a problem, and then just him and Dad having to sit down for a while and go, so we have to fix this, because people are fixating on this.
We're not...
Yeah, but then we had T-Rex. That was kind of...
Was it?
Bringing that back.
Bringing T-Rex, yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, Tyree. T-Rex.
I love, did you ask me to like read the script or something? And I went,
that was
Tyreek?
your idea too, is having the Tyreek joke was yours as well.
I thought that's how it was pronounced.
But that brought back the fourth wall energy, how Pinky got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I think it's great that Pinky was all wrapped in that as well.
Yeah, so that is confirmed. So Dash is a little older than everyone else. The way I see it is like if Pinky's 10, like Dash would have been like 18, I guess. So it's kind of that sort of age. So like Dash is older than Pinky by a bit.
Sure. Which one?
And I liked also before they go off on this mission when you have the drill sergeant talking to him about how it could suck, energy out of something and burp it in another dimension to give hints and for what's coming up in the next segment.
Yeah.
I still can't believe you got your llama joke in there.
That
it's
llama
Yama.
joke is off. I know, that's one of those random jokes they just come up with. This whole
the L is
sketch.
silent.
That
Which
was
L?
So that was based on the frog from Bunny and Teddy, I think. That was like that script that we did a long time ago. It's like the frog with the silent G at the end of the frog. And so it's basically the same sketch except with a llama and the extra L. We're training. Atomic had a lot of fun with the lasers here.
I love them.
That was a great line because it's exactly what they did just before.
Yeah. And then this is his best. It's like, oh, she moves her head away from the light as it hits, and then
the lighting on everything just sells it, and especially like the motion blur.
Yeah. Bam. And then you go, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's a whole reason for this.
And that's who's voicing that? T-Rex?
That is Inkwell.
Yeah, Rose.
Or Inkros. I'm sorry, Inkros.
She does that
yep.
right at the end.
Does a little cameo. It's like, Inkros, can you be in this movie? It's like, yep, I'm in.
There's another cameo, the nurse.
Yeah, that's Lady Chan. So Lady Chan, a one-time character as Screaming Soldiers in the last episode, got to voice as another character in this one. So.
Loved her screams.
Where is everyone else?
We're Valhalla.
So Big Apple edited this end scene.
Do you remember what happened?
So many colors.
Are you hungry, Rainbow Dash? See? Clearly she has experienced massive trauma.
This
Clearly.
is where you're managing the post-traumatic stress kind of.
Yeah, PTSD, and the fact.
Yeah. Oh, that's see, that was a cute shot. It's like the bird, and she's like, hooray, hey.
Yay.
Yeah. So we have the.
Cool.
And now we're going into another world, I think.
What are we going to?
Yikes, that was too close.
Yes.
So this is the first eye icon, if you were very paying attention, because she bails, and this is where she bails to. But it also connects to the bird's backstory.
Oh, we had a huge trouble with the comic on release day.
Credits.
Oh my god! It's another pony.
With this part?
No, the actual comic itself. I remember it wouldn't show up. And
We'll
it
talk
wouldn't-
about that. When we get to
Okay.
the comic.
Well, what are you doing for the comic?
This
are you
was
playing it as a video?
Yes, we have 20 seconds for each
Okay.
panel, basically. So, just to kind of generally talk over it.
No, I teleported. I said that already.
I like their banter. I like Atomic in here. And who's this?
That is JJ, I think, who did Angel.
Yeah, JJ.
So, because JJ has a good voice.
Yes.
And he tries to do abridged stuff too. So yeah, we had JJ and we had another guy. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, but he did the other guy, Lemon Hearts, or
Oh, was it Nest Studios?
Yes, that was at Nest Studios.
Or NES Studios?
Because he sent in. Yeah, because
you
he sent
send
in
us home?
an
That
audition like a year ago.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then I'm like, oh, well, let me look at this guy's, let me look back at his audition. It's like, hey, yeah, you still want to be a part of a thing? He's like, yes. I'm like, all right, yeah, here you go. And then Atomic got Spitfire. So.
Oh, what? I think in this too, we had this other ideas that there was like some kind of, I don't know, I write this. There's a castle there.
Yeah,
And we were
that
gonna
was-
have what's his face?
I remember.
Yeah, the movie star who's always showing
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Bacon was in
Kevin
this scene
Bacon
at one
was
point.
gonna be- yeah.
Just because he knew the knowledge of something.
Yeah, I don't know.
And because the point of the scene is Trixie gains knowledge that Discord has
has
been stopped and can't be stopped.
There's a lot of expository in that. She had to find out about the princesses and
a lot of this, I think, is improv from Trixie.
From right here.
From Greg.
Just click a button.
Yeah, I had to cut stuff too, which hurt. I had to cut some of it because it's only 20 seconds.
You should release
so.
like a cut video, like FIW did,
more.
with all of the cut lines.
Oh, maybe I'd have to find that.
You get all the one from
That's
Bean's
a
Quest.
bomber
That'd be
shot.
good.
So, do we laser hunt?
There's like 5 of those left, but yeah.
That sure sounds like Pinky Man. Yeah.
This is another kind of long one.
Ask her thoughts on cupcakes.
I don't know, but they work. I mean, all these center ones, especially if you come down that, maybe if that's your first run, you just kind of hit these middle ones, or maybe the second run after following Trixie and Pinky. They really stick together well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
And I like her reaction to that
And
because she
there's a
would
lot
be
of you.
expecting.
They just started showing up.
Yeah, it's a little fast for me, but at the end of the day, scene's already long.
Yeah.
You gotta just.
Yeah.
God.
Just gotta get it through.
Yeah.
And that cocked rat hoof. It looked like you were gonna punch our heads off and like it.
And
I couldn't
then
stop him.
we
I was
gotta-
possessed.
that's the
put
first
in
time
the
we've seen
humor
her.
I'll be so confused.
At points.
Pretty straightforward, but you should probably fill everyone else in for the sake of exposition.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Well, bottom line is
But
this.
I like how if you actually like follow Pinky, she is like
Another one? How many of these stupid
like
dead guys
it all makes sense. Like when she's zapped out of the
happened?
closing
Yeah.
screen, it's like it all makes sense. It goes
Just
right
right to here.
there.
That's why the problem. Some of the Abridgers who did the reactions, they were just jumping all over the place. So there's like no continuity.
And it's like, what is it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is so confusing. Well, yeah. It's like
You just
reading a
gotta
twist of plot
go
from
through
front
a couple-
to
I
back.
can't stop him. You can't? Twilight, he can do anything. Rip you apart. Destroy
Yeah,
the
there were
planet,
basically
snap
3
his
main
fingers.
routes.
I can't
There was the
outrun him.
there
I
was
can't
the
out-edit him.
Ponyville Equestria route. There was the Crystal Empire route, and then there was the Trixie Pinky
Pinky,
route.
yeah.
Those were there was like a couple videos like here and there that are kind of outside those, but it was generally those 3 paths that we kind of looked. I would call them like the Equestria line or the
Yeah.
Crystal Empire line.
Equestria 1, 2, and 3.
Hope to God he doesn't
Yeah.
find you.
Yeah, it's almost like you had 2 separate lines with Pinky and Trixie, but they were kind of off doing their
Yeah,
similar
I just
related
sort of put
things.
them in.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. Oh, that's it. No, game over, man. Game over.
Couldn't resist. Sorry.
No, it's not over yet. What? We still have all of
They
ourselves
have to.
here,
We had to have like a darkest moment. And then we had to have think of like why don't they just use the elements? And then like Applejack suggests it, but then they're all like not there, and
Which is I mean, in logical sense, like it can't work.
Yeah.
You know.
That Game Over Man is a bit of like an opposite to I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah. She goes through a whole
Yeah.
journey within 2 videos. And
We'll talk about
we
that when we get to it.
yeah.
yourself, Twilight.
I think there's a bit more of a story behind it.
Oh, the wise owl.
There was actually a little bit of extra dialogue here between the owl and Twilight, where you actually hear the owl back in the Pony Horror Abridged. We didn't even talk about some of the other abridgers, but the owl is from Pony Horror Abridged from Ross, who's one of our executive producers. And he there was like a little bit at the end where he's like in the universe and talking to Twilight. It's like, all right, what do you want? And then it just cuts off or something. But it didn't quite work in editing. Like, it was funny on paper, but didn't work in the editing, so I had to cut it. And then we have these two, the Classy Raccoon Productions, Twilight and Fluttershy. And this is just their series is just a personal favorite of mine. They would just come in with lines that were just out of nowhere, really, really funny. And I had always kind of liked their stuff, so I asked if they wanted to come in. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know you knew about us, but yeah, sure, yeah, well, we're in. We'll send in 2 characters."
And in the previous one, it had that really rough voice. We just got here. We could leave whenever we want.
Yeah, and that was that's Friendship Goes Hard.
That's right.
Yeah, and he just came in, did a couple lines.
Is that the black and white?
I wanted to do his stuff in black and white, but he said, "Oh no, that was how I got rid of copyright. Just have me in the color." I'm like, okay. I thought that would have been kind of fun to make it.
Yeah, I mean that's like the universe.
Yeah. And then Kamara, it's just her little resting face there. It's like, she's like serious now. Oh, nope, never mind. Really happened.
What the hell do we do? What the hell are we gonna do, man?
I really liked using that Fluttershy shot because it's dynamic.
Who came up with this idea? With having him.
Oh, this was Greg. So what I did was so basically this was actually a separate script because it was sort of like detached. But I said, it's like, do you want to write this part? And he's like, okay. So Greg wrote this whole thing, and he based it off of the Dot Mauve series, Applejack and the comic thing. So yeah, and then same kind of thing. He wrote his dialogue. I fixed up some of my dialogue, and then did that. He asked to see the like the audio cut, and he liked that, and it was, yeah, so that all worked.
Yeah. That first grade history class.
Really use a weapon like that.
It'd be such a significant journey. There's so many writer references in his thing.
Yeah, Greg does a lot of that.
You know, I mean, it'd be such a significant
he does a lot of like parody stuff. Like, there's not a whole lot of epic creatures that don't get torn apart in his series.
Thank you so much.
Also, like, griffins get wiped out in his series, and cosmic beings get wiped out, and
that's something, I guess. No way, I guarantee. I suppose we could. I mean.
It's like how you mispronounce it too. You never get it. Spear of Nidhogg.
Yeah,
like the Nadhog.
I thought that might be fun.
The Noghog.
The Noghog. The Gloghog.
Oh yeah, there's this whole subplot where she goes on a magical journey.
Yeah.
Library. Let's do some research.
That's another fanfic that needs to be written.
Oh, along with
I think it has with the Dot Mauve comic.
That's
probably what it is. I've only seen Dot Mauve. I haven't read the comic, but AJ goes on a magical, mystical journey.
Oh.
But then we have the comic strip.
Oh yeah. I thought that was amazing idea to just do something completely out of medium.
Yeah, you go out of YouTube and you're like, what is happening? So a funny story. So on the night that I did this, I basically, or that we released it, I went off and I went onto the Minecraft realm. And it's because it's like, I was like, and I went to the Thanos farm that's been built there, and I just like sat there. I'm like, it's done. And then I sat there for like 5 minutes, and then I went back on, and then everyone's like, Jack, the comic doesn't work. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's like, don't worry, we fixed it. No thanks to you. I'm like, damn it. I should have like made sure everything worked.
It was a bit like that. We were really angry at you.
It was like, it's not coming up. We
can't read it. And Lady Chan like organized it. I'm like, oh, can you take care of it? Like, I'll send you the thing and you put it on our thing. And then she didn't get it. Where basically she like put the pictures on, and then at the end, all I wanted was like, I just want links to the next images and then to these 2 YouTube videos. And she said, okay, but like I want to put on this other stuff where it says like, oh, come support the channel. Thank you for, come to our social media links. And I'm like, no, they're coming from the channel. They will see it from the channel. No. And then she's like, I don't get it. What are you talking? Like, just make sure it's just the two lanes.
It was more the problem. I think somewhere across the line between you two, it had gone to like 200 pixels across, and you couldn't read any of the words.
Yeah,
we were.
And there was so much good plotting in there too.
Yeah,
we couldn't lose it.
We had to get Kingpin to re-upload on his account.
Kingpin came in and saved us in the end. And we got again, this is kind of more what Script Trixie kind of looked like. If you just read it, she's a bit nicer in this.
A little more fond of Pinky and
she's a bit more supportive, and they're kind of a bit more friends here. But and then there's your scene.
This is where I had to spending days and days like roto brushing shots of Discord.
I remember when you came up with this, the whole thing is memes. We'll have memes all over. Like, really? Really? Okay, director.
I didn't quite understand what you wanted when you were saying meme missiles.
Thank
like
you.
Just sending
Thank
MLG
you.
Stuff. I love the little Star Wars coins. That was great. This was my favorite with the bell. Subscribe. Slime made it in there too.
Yeah. Oh god, that. I think that was a whole 2 days of work on that and sending it back and forth. Oh, and there was the whole extended edition with the North Korean news report.
The North Korean news report.
Wow.
Okay, it's like, good evening, citizens of North Korea.
You have to release the whole
Pinky
thing.
just hit Discord with missiles.
Yeah. I mean, it was good, but it didn't quite fit. It was too long.
It's also long.
But it made sense from the standpoint of if you saw the comic, then this eventually makes sense. Like, oh, that's
this is the only way you can get to it is from the comic.
Minutes. Yeah.
Oh, and I quite like.
And so it's a nice little treat for those who actually went to the
comic. I like your ideas
the comics
of these fake like end cards and stuff.
Yeah, that looks great.
Did you do that too? The wipe on her?
Yeah. Toaster did everything on this video.
That's really cool.
It was just constant like, are you okay, Toaster? And it's during the summer too, during like the really hot England
it was the hottest England summer. I had a job from 9 to 5, and I'd come home every evening and just edit this nonstop. It was very funny though. We'd just get in a VC and do impressions of Bean Quest Rainbow Dash.
That we spent it. What are you
talking about? When Pinky was lying on the ground, did you do that? Toast, is that cut from somewhere with the shadow?
Yeah, well, I did that for the trailer.
Oh my god!
And then
you and your shadows,
and
your proper shadows.
Okay, well, let's not get into the shadow debacle, but we did that for the trailer, and then I realized afterwards that we hadn't even put it in the film, so I just put it in there. But yeah, I do like that shot.
I love this segment. I really like because it's funny, and it's just fun.
This was supposed to be episode 26
bits too,
because it was the go pony and the show pony.
The blush,
the show pony.
Yeah, the blush was awesome. That was a neat touch.
That's kind of where I wanted to go with her a little bit. That would have been like a season 2 thing with Twilight.
Season 2, the stories you tell about season 2.
Season 2. Maybe one day I'll talk about what I would have done for season 2.
Release it as a comic, and I don't know.
It's a comic. There's no comedic timing there. I think that was Atomic.
Oh yeah, I remember. His glitch effects are amazing.
Pinky.
What? No, we can use the elements of harmony. That's what I said.
That's what you idiot. I'm sorry.
Listen to me. I'm fine.
I guess that makes things easier. I am a go pony. We don't have much time. Discord is coming here. Where are the elements? They're in this book. Fantastic. Right.
They're in this book.
Same
as
the first season
2,
1.
Or season 1, yeah.
That was 2. That was the second
episode 2.
Second episode 2, yeah. They're in this.
How did Pinky know? How did Pinky know how to use the elements for harmony, or that they had to?
That's in the comic.
Oh,
she knew. Yeah, the comic.
You didn't read the comic?
I did read the comic.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I didn't. I can't remember.
It's all. Yeah, some people said it's like, oh, wait, how did she know that? And that's what the comic's for. That's
Well,
what
it was just
that's what they realized.
when I first read it, it was 200 pixels by 100 pixels or whatever.
That all right. Touche. Let's.
Your loss. You was always easily distracted by a full-on lip lock.
This was probably one of the first things to be finished, editing-wise, in the segment.
I think we kind of wrote these things. We really had a good idea of what they were going to do anyway.
Just like you said he would.
I had like a list. I had a list of all the things that were like completed, being worked on. Danger. We're in trouble on this one.
I remember that.
Witchcraft was in the danger zone for the longest time. I think that was like the third video to be completed. It was like, that's in the danger zone. We don't have Griffin's lines. We're in trouble. What are we gonna do?
Actually, I said yes.
The danger zone. It was in the really red.
It's like 3 videos were in there at a time.
Scarlet red.
It's like, we're in trouble. We gotta get this. And then this is all, we're working on episode 26 at the same time.
And you were going for an April 30th.
So it's like, because we have a BronyCon panel where it's like we said we would release the episode.
That was insane. This was supposed to come out like February or something.
Yeah, this was like March 4th because of the 4th. That was when we were trying to do it.
May the 4th.
That's right. May the 4th.
May the 4th. That was it. Nope,
because that made so much sense to be awesome.
You did say April 30th was your official announcement for the first one. But we were rushing these all out in the same week. I think 2 weeks before.
And then he starts this, hey, episode 26, we're going to do that 2 weeks later.
Yeah. We had to make the whole episode.
And we had to have a rough draft. We had to have the movie done and the rough draft of 26 done in the middle of July. Because we had to submit it to BronyCon.
Oh, yes.
And it was like, oh my
And you were like,
God. I was up editing all day, every day on this stuff.
And we did major rewrites on that last one, too.
We cut some dialogue out of the scene. The scene went a couple different routes, but it's generally the same stuff. Trixie comes in at the end. It's like, hey. And then...
That was kind of neat. Because it was that, figuring out how you're going to wipe out Discord was not easy.
That was not easy. That was years in trying to figure that out.
Oh, and all it was the elements of harmony. That was it.
Well, ish.
It's like a bunch of... It's like they need a bunch of people and distractions to do it.
They couldn't have done it without camaraderie is it camaraderie is supernatural?
Couldn't have done it.
Can't even remember.
Yeah, camaraderie
Supernatural's in there.
UFP's in.
Ultra fast. And then the last one is, I suppose, any main 6 you want. Any main 6 you think.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice generic.
They're there.
And the one thing that Discord's not expecting is for Celestia to still be alive. That's what, like, whoa, what? And then it all hits, and then she loses her concentration.
I think originally it was Celestia that took out Discord. But then we were like, oh, but we need our heroes to do that. And that's when, like, the other main 6 came in. So basically, Celestia just comes in, distracts her, and then all the beams that are in the air just collapse on Discord. It was really hard to convey that on screen, though. The Atomic definitely helped with this a lot. Like, he edited, like, a lot of this Discord bit. Because this was like a nightmare. I was burnt out and I could not edit a lot of this stuff. I'm like, oh, the ending is still not done.
Oh, God.
The ending was the last video to be finished. This was done at like 3 a.m. on the night before the release date. And I was like, oh my good lord.
That was a huge amount of work for everyone. Toasterless, Atomic. What you guys were pulling. I was done by this point. You guys were like killing yourselves.
Well, to be fair, because I was sitting on my bed when editing, and I'm like, oh, I wish I just had another week. But then I thought to myself, well, if I had another week, I wouldn't be editing right now. I'd be playing like a game or something. So it's like you do need the time crunch. Because it's like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow.
That was the worst. I think introducing Minecraft to you at this exact time when you were working on this film.
That was introduced to me this year, and that slowed all the productions of everything, of every episode after that.
Wait.
Thanks, Atomic.
Did it just end?
We jumped to the credits.
No.
Yep. Oh, well, surprise!
Got you.
It got me. I wasn't really paying attention. I was like, wait, it's ended?
We were counting on that for most of our viewers.
Yeah, there you go. It's
So
like, why?
overall, yeah,
I guess
okay.
Discord won.
Wow. And I am all the abridged series.
I like the sound. There's like a thing I missed in here too after watching it 3 times and missed it. But oh well. There's like a thing where like some of the characters are cut off in the background, and 3 people noticed it, and I'm like, whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Damn it.
I still have not noticed that.
You'll see it. It's just just keep watching. You'll see just in the background. It's like for a few seconds where it's like those 2 are like cut up.
Oh.
It's quite graphic.
You too. Thank you so much.
Camaraderie supernatural, and they, they give their parting ways.
Oh, that effect.
There they are.
And there we have Callum.
Atomic was very
the
proud
guy
of
with
that.
the. Yes, he was.
Well, with the
Hey.
green.
No, that guy. Hey. Because I was in the script, like, Greg wrote that in the script. It's like accompanied by a pony, the spear, and a diamond dog. So we just
We
put
did.
that in there.
We went on Google for a very long time trying to find a suitable pony,
like a weird pony.
and we found that one, and I think it's actually by Silver Quill. So we might. Let's hope we don't get.
It's like Silver Quill's the pony.
What am I supposed to do with the spear and Nidhogg?
Oh, there it goes.
Can't pick fruit with the spear? Can't fix
It's
a
very
bad
like
road?
quick,
Way I put off for this stupid adventure.
but it's just my masking.
Oh yeah.
As you deal the death blow.
Well, I was writing because that was it.
So
We got
right
this,
here, so this is where it would have started if we had went with the original route and not had the other abridged series come in. So it would have been like it ends and then Celestia comes in and is like, well, that just goes to show you.
Yeah.
So
what does it go to show you?
Yeah, that's what she was. Well, you
remember you.
deal the death blow while you're monologuing. You don't wait. So
Gnome.
what's really nice is Celestia really never does anything
She's
the whole
just-
series, which is great.
Yeah.
Which she doesn't need to. It's got the
It's
spell.
like, I'm here. Pinky. Going
I
out.
was like Chris's lines, and he's like, no. Don't do that. Don't.
I know everything. I love that. I think that's from like that Celestia to the Moon animation.
This is a very good ending to the film, and I think it's such a good ending that a lot of people thought there wasn't going to be an episode 26.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
A
they
lot of
think,
people
it's all
didn't.
done. We wrapped it all up. She got rid of the Discord. You got rid of Sandra, and of course she's now we're doing
And then
this
she does that
for some
This-
reason.
Okay, so I the reason I did the whole like I'm not afraid anymore is it's goofy. It's like a goofy like, hey, everything's happy now.
It's
The mayor comes in. It's
Yeah,
like,
just
hey,
kinda
I don't
push it.
hate anyone anymore.
it is genius.
It's just her cutie mark's different for some reason.
Oh my god, yeah.
We were just in there the whole time. And now I like it.
Except you. What? Get out.
Silver Quill.
Everyone here safe and sound, and Apple Bloom will be coming home. And oh my god,
I
I
think
thought
Kevin
that was good,
Kevin
bringing Kevin
Bacon was
Bacon in
gonna
there.
defeat Discord at one point. There was a
Yes.
draft where he
Oh,
comes
that's
in, and then
Remember?
and he's got like and you see him, and he's like from South Park with the Canadians, and he's got like his mouth like bobs up
That
and
would
down.
have been really good
It's
and
like-
really fun to make.
Yeah,
it would've been
that would have been
crazy.
good. We had a lot.
There's
You
a lot
you
of
write so
different
many different
endings.
versions. and Stuff.
I think Kevin Bacon came in and gave Pinky encouragement once. He's like, "It's okay, Pinky." It's like Kevin Bacon. It's like, yes, it's all right. It's like Jesus.
That would have been
coming in. It's
amazing.
like, "Whoa, Kevin Bacon.
Like
But he's always just
at the lowest moment of the film, like he comes in and consoles Pinky. That would have been great.
Yeah, that's
It would have
what
been
was.
like it would have been like the ending of Harry Potter, like in the train station, but with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Except Kevin
We
Bacon
could
and a pink
have
pony.
we could have put him in the comic, I guess. And it's like it would have been that hard to do. Oh well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It would have only really been tough in the
Now we
live
need
action
Kevin-
section.
Yeah.
Nope, I feel great. Except
Kevin Bacon playing with the
And
pony
then-
toys.
memory sealed. I can't read the script anymore.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This is a bit of setup for the
Well, I
next one
can,
too.
but only
Yeah.
what's already been written. To be honest,
We'll talk about
I don't wanna
26 when we get to 26.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
was
but-
a whole thing.
That oh my god.
This was set up for that.
You have no idea
Our,
how many
well,
times I wrote that.
early plans for 26.
What do you mean? You said it yourself. The script is always changing.
God, 26 is the
No matter how
best.
much power you have,
Sorry.
you never completely control the future. Discord learned that the hard way. Yeah.
I like how again
hard way,
reaching back to the episode
whole-
14 or episode 15. Yeah, and
the whole theme of it,
right.
Where
You don't know the future.
because
Hey, everyone.
Nobody does.
Everyone, hey, turn off the music.
Hey.
I think this is also why people thought this is the last one. Is she had this.
she
nice-
does this whole.
Yeah.
It was kind of because 26 is more a Luna story, so I wanted this to be like, okay, this is more elements. So let's make it an element thing here.
Mangoes and dresses.
And it's also show how much she's changed. And I mean, we really kind of made it obvious here because she's talking about it. But from when she first got to Ponyville to now,
And enjoying the journey is all about
Hmm.
having good friends to share.
That's quite a good shot. It's like
I am so grateful to have all of you here.
of rarity
It's just
looking up.
stills because can't have them move. Yeah.
To a long and wonderful friendship.
It's like
Cheers. Cheers.
cheers. And then,
Berry punch. Put down the plunger.
as always,
Final joke.
end with a joke.
At least they didn't all.
And then this
start
remix.
laughing. That would have been classic ending.
yeah.
Yeah. Guest writers.
Remix.
So the remix is from, well, it's in the credits, but but Eric got him on board, and I basically on GarageBand I just sort of combined a bunch of themes together and then sent it to Eric, and then he did like a remix of it, and so these are
Kinda
all
neat
like
touch.
the different. Not all of them, but different themes of all the other Abridged series. So you got Witchcraft, Mentally Advanced, you got Friendship is for Adults, Camaraderie Supernatural, the Dual Shade one. Like, all their themes are in here.
Friendship
What a
goes hard.
cast.
It's
It's really kind of a big send off for the whole Abridged thing, and I'd be tooting our horn a bit too much, but it's kind of that, or a celebration, not a send off, a celebration of the Abridgers and this kind of environment.
It was designed to be like a last hurrah of the Pony Abridged series. That's what I said in the emails when trying to get people on board. I'm like, we're getting everyone in, so.
I'm still amazed you guys pulled this off.
I am too.
You guys, come on. You as well.
Right?
Us.
All of us.
I'm really surprised we pulled this off. That was like so ambitious from the time we first heard about it to this. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And it works so well. I just keep watching it over and over.
I mean, I know at the time I was thinking it's like, oh my God, this is like how could I do this ever again? But like sitting here now, I'm like, I could do this again.
Yeah.
It's like you forget the pain until you actually start doing it again. You're like, oh.
That's why
it's not.
women have more than one child. They
Yeah.
forget about how
It's
bad
like-
that birthing was. They're just enjoying, having the child now. It's like, oh, we can do this again. It's like, okay.
It's like, oh. Yeah. So let's talk a bit about the, I guess like other, so like reactions to it. Premiere night was fun. We started, I guess we tried to start at 12 p.m. or something like that, but then it was delayed like an hour because our internet was really bad. And eventually Atomic had to come in and it's like, all right, I'll stream it on my
What a
end.
savior.
And we basically streamed the marathon of Scootertrix the Abridged all day. That day, on the day this premiered, I think the 20th or the 22nd.
It's like 6-7 hours worth of.
Yeah.
Because what with this one or with everything is like 7 hours and 20 minutes. You had like about
with everything
6
is like
hours,
7
I think.
hours,
Yeah.
7.5 hours.
So 6 hours before, and it's like, yeah, that was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, it was. We still have the stream. I might release the streams, but we still have those on private, unlisted. But we have the streams, and we have like all we were in the Discord talking to people and watching it, and we're like, oh, that was fun. Remember when we did that? Oh, that and we had like 200 people looking at it at one point, I think.
Oh yeah.
200 watching in the stream.
It went from 200 to
couple
about
different-
8 as soon as it stopped working. I remember.
Yeah, but it went back to
Yeah,
200.
that's the important part.
Yeah, it started picking back up, right? Because in the middle, didn't it die or something too?
It died a couple times. And we're like, try to get it back up.
Then the actual start of the movie, I remember we had a couple ideas about how to do that, and you just went with basically, okay,
Off
It's
you
like,
go.
have fun.
off you go. It's like,
Here's your
and I think
lunchbox.
that was a great. That was the best way.
It was
could have done
yeah,
that,
it's
so.
very interesting to see like all the responses coming in. like finding the different
And then people
parts.
are like,
Yeah,
wait,
it's like
what is
5
it?
minutes.
What is
A
this?
5-minute movie.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Was that the big
Not
joke?
even 10. They're like, oh,
isn't that technically
Oh.
a short?
yeah. And then of course, like I said, I went on Minecraft and did the Thanos thing.
Oh, you took a few screenshots of that. That's great. You should like.
Can you
edit those
probably
into
show
the?
those during this? I could probably do that. Yeah.
It's good to bask. It's good to stop and smell those
You're
roses
just like-
every now and then and go.
And it was I had tested like to make sure every video like was linked, but then it was really I think
there's a
my dad and Sawyer, my sister, were watching it together basically, and then she was going because she didn't know anything about where the paths went, so she just like was going through it, and it was great seeing her because she did like in the YouTube thing where it's like, quick, help me, and the things pop up and she's like, oh no, and then they get destroyed and she's like, oh, wait a minute, and it, seeing stuff like that was great. And I'm like, oh, this is, and it was just really fun to actually see like a live person like do it and go through it and not know what happens
A live
next.
person, not a dead person.
Yeah, exactly.
We were working. I remember also the titles of all the videos. That was kind of the
Yeah,
controversy.
there was a debate between my father and I where I wanted the videos to say where they went to. So it would say Equestria, go to Equestria, or go to the YouTube page, or go to here. But then
and I wanted to do it more like what the person experiencing it, was thinking about, or how they were going to participate in the story. Go find help, go find Pinky, follow this person, follow that. It's like, what would they do, as opposed to, oh, now I think I'll wander on over to Equestria.
Yeah.
So,
which was better in the end, because if you have a bunch of videos that say Equestria all the time, it's like, oh, did I see this one already? Which kind of happened with the Birds backstory.
We deliberately
that was another one of your things. Which
that's right.
Yeah, because you were like, have them like click on the Trixie one, and then they're like, wait, what is this? And then they realize as they're watching it, it's like, oh, it's the.
I wanted it to almost be an Easter egg. The Birds backstory, nobody knew it was going to come.
Yeah.
Every time we've seen it, it's just like, oh, that was a great backstory. You have no idea what happened. So it would just be along some line, and you would think, oh, I'm going somewhere. And you put it in the perfect spot, because you have to see that for the next segment with Trixie to make sense. And that, I think it just nailed it. But you have no idea it's coming. And then there was like, wait a minute, I thought I was following Trixie. It's like, oh my God. But there was another thing we did, because if you came, and I think it was from Luna's first one, if you came back, you had like the same choices, but they actually went to different
a little
videos.
different. Yeah. And that was actually, it's like you skip a whole Equestria segment, which was a little weird, but at the same time, it's like, it was from the Spike video. And I think it was just a gamble, because by the time you get to the Spike video, because you're probably going to pick something else other than the Spike, because there's so many more enticing options, I guess. But the Spike video does skip like some information, and you're like, oh, what's going on? Because I see that happened at one point on one of the reactions where they did that. But it's like, it's very rare, and I don't think it really ruined the experience that much for people.
I thought it heightened it. I thought that was kind of a neat.
And because you have to.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, your choices like do different things.
Right. Even though you think you're going to the same video. Oh, I've been to that video before. It's like, but if you go again from that other direction,
Yeah.
I think it was also a challenge trying to get it so that even though you were going to approach them at different times in the story for different reasons, that it still made sense as one of the options for the same video.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying, because with that Spike one, it kind of, you miss some stuff, and you kind of jump quite a bit, and you're like, wait, what's going on? Because you don't know anything about Pinky or anything.
That might be with because that one was added later, because I remember we put a lot of effort into, I personally put a lot of effort into making sure every line made sense. If you followed any of those storylines from start to finish, you got a complete story.
It should.
You had no idea what some of these weird things were that were coming into your story, but it was a story that you could follow and it would make sense. Because that was a lot of work, trying to figure out how to make all those pieces. So it didn't matter which path you took, it still would come down and make sense.
I'll probably post the map like right about here as well on what it looked like on Twine of sort of our our layout. Some of the videos, like I think one of the pandering one isn't in there because that was like a later video that was added. So, but there's like, you know, and you can see like the titles of all the ones on sort of how that was gonna pan out. Reactions to the movie were pretty positive.
Really positive.
A lot of people, were like, "This is like, what is this? This is amazing." What, you know? Some people were scared to like click the next link because they're like, "Oh, what is the next like? Is the next video like bad for them? I don't want to do this." Like I saw comments like that.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Okay, that's neat. Generally pretty
Really
positive.
yeah.
I think I don't know. So the complaints were generally around stuff that wasn't like the mentally advanced. There was just like a couple ones where it's like, oh, I wish there was more mentally advanced stuff in there. There was a comment about the ending too, where it was just like basically the gist of it was stuff happened too fast and wasn't set up properly. Was the gist of the comment. There's like other stuff in there. But then they said they liked the rest of the movie. It was just like the ending, because the ending was like 10 minutes.
There was a lot packed in.
There's a lot packed into that. And the fact that the last video was 10 minutes is kind of a coincidence. I mean,
that
it's not
became
a
a target. It was close enough. So
it was
we could
close
turn
enough.
it
So I'm
into a
like,
target.
okay, I'll shoot for 10 minutes.
Yeah, let's make it 10.
I think there was
there's some stuff we could have done there, but
there was some complaints about it kind of being a bit gimmicky and not quite, like a perfect story. But at the same time, it was really interesting to see people mapping it out in different like Google documents and stuff. That was really good.
God.
Yeah.
There was within 5 minutes, someone had a map of almost all the videos.
I think I saw 2 of those.
And they just had links to everything.
There was like, just go to this, just go to this.
Like within 5, I was like, what how are you doing this? Some people, it was really funny. There was this one person who posted like a link in the description or in the comments, and they're like, it's like, oh, all the videos are linked here. And I'm like, what, really? And I clicked on it, and it was like the Rick Roll. I was like, ah. And then, so I was like, oh, they got me. But you did an Easter egg with that in the
YouTube page one, yeah.
In the YouTube page, yeah. If you look at the link on the top of the video when you're panning up at Trixie, you'll see a link there, and that is a link to the you'll get Rickrolled there.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people notice. There's one thing we didn't talk about at all because we didn't really have the format was the narrator or the editor.
Oh,
all
that's
the comments,
right.
all the different. There's a lot of stuff going in the bottom comments.
That was because we had links in the description, and then we had him arguing with the editor or with Discord at one point, and then in the last video, and I think it's a fitting way to get rid of him. But it's the last video where he's like, guys, hello. Oh no.
And then all the credits,
like,
all the links to all the other ones. That was cute.
So that was fun. That's how you get rid of the editor. But yeah, the editor does say some stuff, and I think you wrote editor stuff.
I wrote some editor
description.
I wrote a lot of the editor pieces. And they're going back and forth trying to do it so that you could actually follow it, and he's talking when they're talking, and that was neat. But you also had some earlier on or different places, because I remember there's an earlier link you can go to follow Trixie, but you missed the bird's backstory.
Yeah.
But that was like in a link, but I think the editor provided that too, or when he's being crushed. Oh no, somebody help. Oh wait, she's gone. Hey, please be a supporter, sign and subscribe. Give us 2 thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
Give us your likes.
Give us ratings.
Yeah, if you look at the crushing one, the comments there from the editor, you have all this that final stuff of, wow, that was exciting. Okay, come on, give us some likes, man.
Greg actually didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Oof.
But that's okay. But yeah, he just had problems with like how the fourth wall was used, and then I don't think he found it funny at all. So a lot of it was just very flat. So but that was just sort of his general complaints. But yeah, I don't think there was any really other major criticisms of it that I saw.
Is there anything that came up in BronyCon?
What?
No, I don't think so. No. And that was like 2 weeks later. This is
know.
insane.
I don't know about you guys,
You're
but like,
insane
although there were a
people.
lot of fans there, they didn't really talk about it a lot. Or
Yeah,
the
they
movie,
didn't.
yeah.
Or as in like, I'm not. Maybe they came up to you and talked, but like I didn't see them really talking about Scootertrix.
created
I don't
no
know about the
buzz.
movie. I think a lot of it was just comments where people were like, "This is like I've never seen something
yeah.
like this before." This is, on Equestria Daily they had comments where they're like, "It's like, oh my, this is a huge project. How'd you get all these people in on this?"
I think that's the biggest thing, that admiration. How'd you get all these people?
Yeah.
I thought this guy hadn't done anything for 6 years. How'd you do that?
I think that just goes to show, like, at the end of the day, just ask. That's because at the end of the day, that's kind of all I did was I sent them an email and said, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this thing?" I kind of knew them. That probably helped. I knew them already a bit, but like not personally. I just like text them a bit.
That was also because you asked or because you reached out. Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes that works. Sometimes you never know until you try. Just go in and it's like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Or, send something to someone and they might respond back or say, "Yeah, I'm in." So, because that's kind of how that happened. I think that's probably it for me. I don't think there's anything else I missed on the movie.
I can't think of anyone's lingering questions from the comments or anything.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. I know a lot of people were like, "Can there be like a playlist, or can there be like a video, or
Can you
I guess
re-release it
this
as a movie?" But then you take the whole fun
Yeah.
out
You
of
take
it.
all the fun out of it. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another criticism. Some people said that it was really easy to get through the movie because you can get through it if you take some paths. Take like 3 videos.
Yeah, the princesses.
The princess one. If you
quick.
go to the princess route, that's like
That's the
3
speed route.
clicks basically, and you're already.
But
at
I
the
mean,
end.
like, yeah. I mean, if you're saying easy to get through
that's,
it, because it's like, what does through it mean? Because it's not like reaching the end means you win.
What's the goal?
It's like, because it does
The
take
goal
you
is
like an hour
fast.
and 45 minutes to actually
have
watch
fun.
it all.
Yeah, and watch everything. Watch all of it and have fun. We
Yeah.
have a lot of cameos in there, a lot of characters in there.
It's
That's the
to
whole
go hide.
point.
You have to take an active role. It's the 4th. I mean, you're a part of it. You've got to be there.
Yeah, this is like the definition
And-
of active spectator.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you missed any videos, here they are now in this commentary. This has all of them in it. So
Did you ever hear back from your professor? Because this was like a project. Actually.
I did not. I did send it to him, and he said, "Oh, congratulations on finishing it." I don't. He never responded back, or he hasn't responded
With
back
anything
yet.
specific,
But yeah, this was. This was actually a class project because I was like, I'll do a YouTube Choose Your Own Adventure, and I wrote out like a lot of the scripts for my class to read, and they all, and they were like, "Oh, this is really great." So this was the Scootertrix movie was technically a class project as well that I actually got to finish. You could say it was something like a thesis project, I guess, because I didn't do it.
Yeah, that was kind of your end. Yeah, you were
I
coming
guess,
to the end of
yeah.
your graduation. So.
There you go. A giant fourth wall Choose Your Own Adventure involving ponies. There's my thesis.
Easier to write than to execute, but you did it, man.
Yep. All right. Well, yeah, that's about it for me. Anyone else got any lasting thoughts, ending thoughts on the movie?
Shame Atomic couldn't be here, really.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, Atomic's out on a trip. He's in Singapore right now, so he can't be.
Although it might have been confusing to have 2 British editors talking over each other.
Yeah, some people on our Discord feel that way. Yes, they get them mixed up.
No, I don't have anything else. It was a lot of fun to write. It was a lot of fun to work out all the story plotting, and whenever I write it, I see it played out in my head, and it's so amazing to actually see it in reality and be so close to what kind of envisioned. So that was fantastic. Yeah. I really
It's
enjoyed
pretty
it.
amazing to think that it's out there. It's like an hour and a half that you've written.
Yeah, we've done a movie. We have a movie under our belt. That's neat.
That's neat.
We can say that.
That's something. We need to say that.
We did a feature length. We did one, and it's okay.
And it's
an okay feature length.
Really
It's all right.
He's
Love the
filming the
stories.
thing.
The acting's great.
That's right.
So no, thanks, Jack. That's it. For
Take
me.
that, Spielberg.
Alrighty. Yeah. All right. So, thank you all for watching. We will be doing 26 soon,
Happy New Year.
I hope. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Thank
Happy
you all for
holidays.
watching.